No bass like home.
Hi, I'm Carol Thompson and I'm one of the queens of Lovers Rock. My album, Hopelessly in Love, was recorded at Easy Street Studios, one of the very famous reggae studios. And it was recorded in 1981 and it was a lot of fun and it was a very exciting time. As young people making music and having lots of fun in the studio, we weren't actually thinking about hits, really. We were just so chuffed and so pleased to have the opportunity to be making music and being in the studio. So we were just like excited bunnies, really. And Hopelessly in Love was one of many songs that I wrote. And today it never ceases to amaze me how successful and how well received that song still is. Being part of the NW10 powerhouse was just amazing. To be part of Harlesden back in those days was it was an exciting time. The whole of the strip of Harlesden High Road, from Jetstar to Hawkeye to, I don't know, Starlight, it was just amazing, and so much food as well, and people. You could be on Harlesden High Road and you could meet Dennis Brown, you could meet Tapazuki, you could meet Sugar Minot, you could meet, I don't know, Gregory Isaacs, all of us, and all the artists from the UK as well, other Lovers Rock artists and Aswad and Roots artists. It was wonderful, and it was a very vibrant time in W10 in those days, and everything happened on that strip, from Jetstar to Hawkeye to Starlight to the Patty Shop. Very important, that. And yeah, it was good. I was very I felt very comfortable and very excited to be part of that little world. I think the impact that Lovers Rock had on black music was that it created a genre that was identifiably UK, British. It was created in the inner cities and we all could relate to it. It gave us an opportunity to be part of a movement, to be part of the music industry, to create songs, producers, writers, musicians, artists, we all had an opportunity with Lovers Rock as a genre to feel that we could be part of it and to feel that we could actually make a contribution as musicians and artists. So it had a major impact, not just in our community, but it ricocheted outside of the community, and everybody understood it, that this was like British, this was homegrown stuff. It was good.
My name is Trevor Brown, aka Trevor Star. I'm a guitarist from Kingston, Jamaica, self-taught. And on my journey to England was fantastic. You know, it happened so fast, so quick, you know, because in them days, everything just happened quick. I was working with a top band in Jamaica, the Supersonics, Tamamacook and the Supersonic. But at that time, it was, do I need to go, or, you know. But when I hear about Winston Riley, his brother and me was friends. He said to me, if I want to come to England, I said, well, yeah, you know, I was in two minds, you know, people tell you these things. And he said, no, children need musicians to come to England to promote reggae and the development of reggae music. So I went to see Minister of Arts and Culture, Edward Siaga, and he said to me, look, this is a good opportunity to go to England and put my foot down, meaning stake my claim, you know, promoting the reggae music, you know what I mean, teach them how to do it, teach them how to play, 'cause at that time, it's not few people were doing reggae music at the time when reggae was just start to open up in Jamaica. Yeah, so this is where I get my break. And the rest is history. I'm here, you know. Brent was the hub. You know, everybody come to Brent, musicians, you know, so it was the right place to be. True Trojan record as well, you know, Trojan at the time were at Neasden Lane Music House. And, you know, all the artists that came up from Jamaica visit Music House. So that was in Brent. And for me, that was lovely because I get to see some of my friends when they came up as well. You know, whenever the musicians came up from Jamaica, I was there. I was always there because I was a part of, most of them came through Trojan record, and being one of the Trojan musicians, you know, I get all the session works, most of the session works, you know. So yeah, as soon as a band come up and they needed a guitarist, my phone ring.
No bass like home.
My songs is Teach the Children, Al Capone Guns Don't Argue, Rockin' to Ethiopia. It's so much to mention. They can find all of them on YouTube, right? It's a lot. I am in the business 50 odd years. I started my first record in 1970 for a producer called Keith Hudson. Yes, the Ghetto Dentist. Yes, and it was all good. You know, it's a wonderful road I've been traveling on all over the world, from Brazil to Japan, all of the European countries I did, you know, several times over. You know, so it's an exciting career. The highlight of my career is going back to Jamaica after 20 years outside of Jamaica performing. I went back there to do the Heineken Star Time. Yes, and this was somewhere around 1985, somewhere around there, right? And that was definitely the highlight of my career because I was working back in my homeland, you know, for the first time after 20 years. You know, I really was excited about that, you know, and so was the people. They were very excited to see me, you know, so the vibes was up, really up, you know, so I would say that was the highlight of my career. Yes, I'm still performing. I only take a break now because of this epidemic that's going around. You know, nobody can do any work. It's about social distancing. So I'm on pause at the moment, but I can't wait to go again, you know, hopefully sometime soon. Yeah, Brent was always the place to be for reggae music because Trojan Records used to be in Brent, you know, and when we come to the company, Trojan, this is where we come. You know, the first stop is in Brent, you know, because Trojan released a lot of reggae music, and a lot of people from the Caribbean reside in Harlesden, especially, you know, so a lot of our friends is over this side, you know, so we would visit friends and also some of the studios over this side as well. You know, a lot of musicians started over in Brent, you know, so Brent is the place to be, you know, from ever since. You know, it's the HQ, headquarters.
Hi, my name is Chips Richards. I'm marketing manager during the 70s at Trojan Records. Trojan Records was an absolute reggae-based British company based in Willesden in borough of Brent. It was very, very difficult to accomplish chart success in those days because reggae was never welcome in the media by BBC and other radio stations. When entering the BBC, we would be greeted with contempt. It was absolutely impossible to get in. And when you go in, producers would treat me with real contempt and disrespect. Brent really was the hub of up-and-coming record companies and record labels. At one time, I could count over 20 odd. And from there, the launching of reggae, globalizing, really came from this borough. Trojan was at 12 Neeson Lane. You had Palmer Records at 78 Craven Park. So we had a real impact on the Jamaican culture and its music in the borough of Brent. My record labels was really pushing for international sales. But in 1975, I took reggae to Japan and Thailand. By 1977, I spent 2 years in Nigeria. Break reggae, extremely big, massive. And eventually, I went back to New York, Canada, and eventually ended up in Brazil, all around the reggae journey. So I think I had small inputs in many countries that lead to what we have got here now, the globalization of reggae. In 2018, I received the medal award from the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Prime Minister Award for Appreciation for Services to Jamaica. And the 19th of October 2020, this year, I received a Badge of Honor award from the Jamaica government in recognition for my long and standing 50-year service in the industry.
When we found out that Double Barrel was heading for the #1 slot here in England, we were in West Street by the Techniques home. And the night when the call came through from London, Winston Riley was the one who answered the call, who took the call. And we guys, we were still outside singing and drinking and laughing. Then after Winston finished talking on the phone, he came back outside excited, very excited about what he just heard. And he said to us, "Gentlemen, I just got a call from Lee Goptal, from Trojan. And he says that we need to get ourselves together and jump on the plane like now, because it seems as if Double Barrel is heading for the #1 slot here in England." And that's how we found out. We came to Brent because at that time Winston Riley had a lot of friends in Brent, which included musicians and singers, mostly from Jamaica and also from other Caribbean countries, you know. And of course, Trojan was just around the corner, you know, from where we were, so which made easy access to and fro, you know, and it was quite cool, you know, it was quite cool. Well, the impact or the legacy of Double Barrel was that it helped in opening that wonderful door of reggae music, you know, for other musicians and artists from Jamaica and also here, you know. And of course, shows, when we went on shows, you know, we saw how excited the people were. You know, sometimes they would come up to me and say, "I am the Magnificent." And I mean, these are people, you know, young and old, you know, black, white, everybody just gelled together as one big happy family, you know, to which was so pleasing to us all. You know, so I think that Double Barrel really made a wonderful and powerful impact on all the people, all over the place and all over the world, you know, because I am the Magnificent, and I'm back from the shack of a sword boss with the most thundering, storming sounds of soul. Lord have mercy. Shucks.
I've had a kind of a roller coaster career because I sang under other pseudonyms. My first and big song was Mr. Fix It, which I recorded for Studio One. That was it, about 1967. I wrote Mr. Fix It and recorded it in 1968. It was covered by over 50 different acts, including Freddie McGregor, you know, Beres Hammond, and UB40. And it was because of UB40 covering it, the reason how I bought my first home. So, you know, that was one of the big tracks for me, Mr. Fix It. Also, I recorded under the name Billy Cole, and I recorded a track called Extra Careful, which was a smash hit, and it's still being played in Jamaica today. I guarantee you that people, if they see, when they see this clip, they're going to say, "Is Winston Francis Billy Cole?" So that's a big one for me also. All the artists that came from Jamaica, they all came into Brent, you know, whether it was by choice or by invitation. You know, all the artists that came here to the UK, everybody ended up in Brent, You know, Harlesden was a hot hub for all the artists, where most of the artists that came here, they got all the fancy clothes made in Brent, you know, with all the beads and the fancy stuff, you know, and everybody just hung out, you know, whether you were working or not, everybody hung out, you know. So, you know, Brent is the capital, without a doubt.
Well, I'm known for songs like Work All Day, Sideshow, Three Ring Circus, Wide Awake in a Dream, and many more. Promises of Comfort to a Fool. But Sideshow was my biggest song. It sold like 1.5 million copies, you know, and it sort of boosted my career so much. I would say the highlight of my career was before I started my musical journey in the UK. I used to sing with a band in Jamaica called Byron and the Dragonaires. So we did a tour in Mexico once, and in this park in front of the band was at least 500,000 people, and I think that was one of my greatest memories. Another of my highlight was, I remember doing Top of the Pops one Thursday, and my dad woke me up the Friday morning. I used to live in Paddington at the time, you know, and he said, look through the window. When I looked through the window, there were so many girls outside because people had seen me on the road, but they didn't know I was a singer. And they saw me on Top of the Pops on Thursday. And I'm telling you, my privacy was a bit invaded, you know, so, yeah, but I remember that quite clearly. Harlesden is the capital for reggae music outside of Jamaica. I've been going to Harlesden for years and years, since in the early 70s, after I had my song Work All Day, a hit in the British charts. My company that released that song, Creole Records, they were in Harlesden. You had Jetstar Records, you had Trojan not too far down the road. All the top musicians were in Harlesden. A lot of my friends are in Harlesden. Yes, Harlesden means a lot to me, you know, because I can never stop going there.
The group that I was in was called The Sensation. Actually started in Jamaica around the 60s when we all left school, and started a band, you know. 5 people it was at the time. 3 left the band, and 1 came in, which was Jackie Paris. So the bands being Stanley Riley, Bobby Davis, Jackie Paris, Dougie Bryan started at The Sensation. And the song that we were known for is Born to Love You, Baby Love, those guys. Every day is a holiday, you know. There's more, but those are the most popular ones. Harlesden in the 70s was good, I should say. I wasn't in Harlesden much because we were always on tour. You know, at that time we were with Trojan. Trojan was the company that was actually handling reggae. So we were never like in London for too long. You know, we're always somewhere doubling gigs and things like that. But it was good, you know. And then BBMC was here as well as a recording studio. And they had Morgan studio up in Willesden there. Everything was good. I'm still performing, but not the regular reggae, if you understand what I'm going to say, is that I'm actually doing gospel with my family, you know. It's called the Davis family, and we do gospel music. Then we're singing for the Lord now, you know. We got 4 albums out, you know, gospel album. Doing okay, working around the churches and things like that. Good. Working for the Lord is good, trust me.
We're in the control room, and everything you're hearing today has been mixed by James Augusti, the man behind the music here at BBMC. James, how's it going?
Very good, thank you, Claire. Thank you for having me.
How much fun is it working with different bands and artists and setups every day?
Well, it's been a joy to see the building fully functioning, all the rooms busy and everybody with a smile in their faces, and yeah, it's been great.
What do you find are the biggest challenges working with so many different artists?
The challenge would be like every artist is they have different personalities. It's not just the artist, it's the people, the actual human being. So you have to deal with them in a different way.
Tell us about your Grammy nomination and how that came about.
That Grammy nomination came thanks of the great Winter James, producer. I have a little piece in Protoge's album A Matter of Time, and that album it became Grammy nominated. So I had my little contribution into that. So thanks, with big up Winter James, and shout out to Gregory Morris as well.
You specialise in dub and live engineering. How difficult is it to get the dub mixes just right? Because it's a lot to do with very specific timing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I really enjoy what to do. So I wouldn't say it's really difficult because it just comes naturally. So I've been practicing a lot and I love it. So it just comes naturally.
Thank you, James Zagasti, the man behind the music here at BBMC.
Thank you very much.
No bass like home.